Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. For this part of Freemasonry and Gangstalking, I'm going to talk about the video I'm going to put at the end of my playlist. In fact, I put it there already. It should be there already. It's a secret recording of a Masonic ritual. Okay. And it's like the Master Mason ritual or something. During the course of that ritual, okay, they brought up that the person must swear an oath, right? They're swearing an oath to praise and uphold Masonic arts. Now, first of all, what are arts, right? There's drawing, there's painting, there's various crafts, right? So their arts and crafts, right, are like the same thing. It's the art of engineering, not just the craft, right? It's the art of carpentry, not just the craft. And that also includes martial arts, okay, which is proving definitively, right? We look at the video carefully, look at them carefully, you think about what they're doing, how they look, how they're shaped. They're Masonic or Masonic-ish, okay? And it highlights something that is clear, even if the video was a hoax, which doesn't make sense, mind you. It highlights that they work together to help each other cheat other people out of positions. Because if you take an oath to praise the craft of masonry, which, you know, in his kind of, when we're talking about Freemasonry, right, as such, it comes from England. And you're praising the white race, especially Northern Europeans, especially English, and there's a lot of Jewish people involved. So they basically took, and it's very gayish, right? But this guy with his shirt off, these guys wearing, these kind of aprons and so on and so forth. No offense to anybody, but they basically took an oath to praise the crafts of the people who control white, Jewish, and LGBT cultures, and who go out of their way to try to control every other race as well. And to a large degree, they're doing just that. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so imagine if they were to be the judges in a martial art contest, or they're to be your judge in court, and so on and so forth. They're to be your defense attorney, the prosecutor. These guys work together, okay, and that undermines the process of trying to get actual justice in the system. This is key in why the criminal justice system is not just. I'd go as far as to say. Now, some might argue that's speculation, I'm going to go ahead and speculate and say somewhere in America today, crimes are going to be committed, right? At least one crime is going to be committed somewhere, somehow, right? Is that speculation? Yeah, to some degree. But there's speculation and then there's speculation, folks. Okay, it is fucking retarded to think that people like in the Klan aren't manipulating things behind the scenes. It's retarded to think that people in Freemasonry, which, created the Klan, right? Nathan Bedford Forrest was a Freemason. Okay, Francis Galton was also a Freemason, and he's the one who coined the term eugenics. When there's Nazi eugenics, there's Northern European eugenics in general. There's even Jews and LGBT people doing eugenics these days. So it's crazy to assume that these people don't manipulate things. And you think they're going to manipulate everything except for who the top martial artist is? Okay, that's insane. And obviously, I'm from a Nigerian patriarchal line. You think they'd have some master plan? Look, guys, we're going to fool them, right? And we're going to contradict the whole purpose of masonry in the first fucking place. It's stupid. My victory does not uphold masonry. I am opposed to Freemasonry. I am 100% against Freemasonry and everybody doing it and the spirits they're in. Okay? 100%. Their rituals are mock rituals. They're mocking the Bible with their Luciferian doctrine. Though Pike was said to be, a Scottish Rite person and not representing all masonry, bullshit. Okay, why does he have a statue over there in Washington, D.C. by Lincoln Memorial? I believe it is. Because tons of Masons came there to uphold him. So, it's like saying during Nazi Germany that you don't think that there's Nazis in Germany because that's only a faction of German thinking. But still, they became the dominant voice and the dominant thinking. And so it is with Masonry. Right? They work together. They're supposed to help each other out when they're in distress and so on and so forth. And the dominant thinking, as far as anyone can look, and as anyone can tell, is white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy. And we know they go in concert, right? Because Hitler was putting Masons in camps. Now, why? Because he wanted it just to be white supremacy. Okay, it's hard to say his exact stance on homosexuality, believe it or not, because a lot of things he did are very reminiscent of gay culture. Perhaps he didn't see it that way and he thought of it as straight Germanic culture. I don't know. Okay. Now let's also look at this in terms of technicality. So how would a Mason try to cheat someone like me? Okay. Well, I'm going to first give you an example of why they're wrong to help you see that they're wrong and I'm right. If you were someone who went and raided beaches, and you say you've been to Costa Rica, you've been to Malibu, Miami, Santa Cruz, what have you, okay? And you raided beaches all over the world. And someone came up to you and said, do you know how many people how many people visit the average beach? And you say no. Do you know how many grains of sand are on the average beach? Okay, are on a beach in average? You say no. Do you know how many animals are in the sea, are in the ocean? Okay, you say no. They say, well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You say, fuck you mean I don't know what I'm talking about. Those are technicality, bullshit. Fuck, who gives a shit about that shit? And so it is with understanding the historicity of the Bible. So it is with being the top martial artist. Do I have to know every martial arts style off the top of my head? No. Do I have to grapple with a thong, or mud wrestle with chicks or sumo wrestle? No. Do I have to strike the same way as you? No. Do I have to have a uniform that is up to, your standard? No. Do I have to be approved by a bunch of Freemasons and other, control freak types behind the scenes? Hell the fuck no. Hell no. You see what I'm saying? So it is with the Bible. Christ didn't say, make sure you learn all the technicalities of the Bible. He did not say that. But he did say that the greatest commandment and the golden rule sum up all the laws and the prophets. All the laws and the prophets are summed up by it, and they hang on those ideas. That's the tree of life. The technicality worm is like, Satan in the Bible when he says, Scripture says this, so just jump off a cliff for no reason. Key phrase, for no reason. Okay? When Jesus basically said, what the fuck you talking about? Get the fuck out of my face. And he did. You see what I'm saying? Because that's that technicality, Scripture foolishness. Versus the point of the Bible, which is the essence of the law, which is the essence of the great commandment. The word is not just words on the piece of paper. Anyone can write and they translate 10 different ways. And there's not even just one Bible. The Catholics have their own and so on and so forth. And the Mormons wrote a Book of Mormon and da-da-da-da-da. All that is just words on paper. It's the essence of righteousness. It's the Spirit of God. It's the actions of God. It's the process of God. The sword and drawing the sword. Drawing from the water of life, figuratively speaking, drawing on the Spirit. So when we look at this thing, we can say with certainty that no Mason has the right, certainly not the divine right, certainly not as a man. Okay, maybe as a fairy they think they do in a game, but not as a man. None of them have the right to insist that I follow them. None of them have the right to try to technicality, assault me. None of them have the right to try to operant condition. And if you're part of a group like that persecutes the most righteous person to ever live, whether you're religious or not, okay? When you die, you go to fucking hell as a bitch. And if you don't know that, what the fuck do you know? Okay, how many of you think that was too harsh? Or that it was inappropriate or something? Now we got to look at this thing here, because they try to draw into question my behavior, my state of mind, okay? They try to define mental illness in terms of how people think and behave, right? And they want people to consider social norms. Now, I don't give a shit about social norms. What is sane, what's insane is insane. But to the psychiatrist and to the mental health industry, by their actions, they don't care about what's sane in reality. They care about what people pretend is sane in a given culture. And that's sick as hell. That's sick. That's like you're in Nazi Germany and they say, if you're not a Nazi, you must be crazy. Or if you don't support Hitler, you must be crazy. That is weak. Okay, so if you follow my train of thought, you should have been mad with me, right? You should look at this thing and say, man, what kind of dog would persecute the most righteous person ever lived using universal logic? Not someone say, hey, I'm from this religion, everyone in my religion thinks it's me. No, but universally speaking, the throne is established in universal righteousness is what it's getting at in Proverbs 16:12. Okay? Somebody who draws on the spirit of righteousness to the point that he does righteous works beyond everyone else. Therefore, he's establishing in righteous works, right? Knowing is not enough, one must apply. Okay? That which you did not do for the least of my brethren, you did not do for me. Away from me, you evil doers. Okay? Go leave your life of sin, right? Do this action of leaving your life of sin, or something worse might happen to you, right? Atone for sin, make amends, right? These actions. So my actions prove that my actions are the strongest conveyance of righteousness there ever was, right? David versus Goliath is the example they make in the Bible, but a more refined version is single combat, and you don't need to shed blood, right? Sparring. If I can outmaneuver you and strike you and beat you 10-0, you think if you pick up a dagger or a sword that you're going to have a chance? I'm going to outmaneuver your slow ass, and I'm going to run laps around you, as they say, and I'm going to cut off your fucking head in that situation, right? So I can prove that I can beat Goliath without actually striking anyone down. And if you're a man of God, you don't want to strike someone down for no fucking reason, right? Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Before you start complaining about my curse words, in Luke, did not John the Baptist say to a group of people, not just an individual, but a group, directing at him with anger in his heart? He said, you brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath? Okay. So you see that my arguments are logical. You see that I'm righteous. You see that I've been making this argument for a long time, and no one has a viable counter-argument. So what do you call it when someone says, hey, I'm the most righteous person that ever lived, and you're on an internet where people can't for the life of them hold their opinion, keep their opinion to themselves, right? Okay, and they have no viable counterargument. So logically, I am the most righteous person that ever lived. Okay, and I demand you to make a viable counterargument if you have it. Not only do they have the opportunity, I've said if you have one, present it, and I demand it in the name of God, I demand you to present any viable counterargument you might have. That is a divine event. When Goliath challenged David, that was a divine event. When David accepted the challenge, or when he challenged the Jews rather, and David accepted the challenge, that's a divine event. Me challenge you all to say, if you do not believe I'm Christ, make your case, and they are quiet, tail tucked, then for all intents and purposes, God expects you to follow me because you don't have a viable counterargument. That's like saying, hey, should you throw a kid in the meat grinder for no reason? No. And if you have a viable counter-argument, present it. We say, I don't know. I don't believe him, so I'm going to do it anyway. That's fucking retarded. Period. Okay, keep in mind, I'm not telling anyone to be violent, but what is going on is serious. Over 8,000 children starve to death every day. Over 25,000 people. That's over 9 million people starving to death a year. And over 3 million of them are children, according to the UN, according to the United Nations. Okay. Now, when you look at the video and you look at the picture on the screen, the person took an oath to conceal, okay, and to uphold, right, to praise, right, to take part in, to promote subtly without giving away that they're doing the tricks of the trade, as they say, right, the trickster, right, the craft and being crafty, okay, and satanic liberation, as free, second part of the word, dumb. Right? They're free to be dumb enough to follow the rules of the devil is the argument being made here. Okay? So I have every reason to be upset. People should rally to solve the problem. It is not right for them or anyone else doing it. And there's lots of other people doing it, the military, the government, you name it. They all kind of get together, whether they're Freemasons or not. Okay? And there's Freemasons among them, more often than not, we'll say. Because there's like 2 million Masons in North America or something. Probably more than that by now. Okay, they get together and they cheat people out of their rights. Okay, they also control the narrative. They're forcing people in California to be liberals or conservatives, or to quote unquote keep their head down and subtly promote these things in various ways. And then they're controlling the process of them quote unquote solving the problem. Okay, with bipartisan committees, centrist thinking, what have you. And what's in between Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger is not good. What's in between the Riddler and the Penguin is not good. What's in between fanatic racists, okay, and crazy communists who, want everyone to be controlled. Okay, what's in between a white supremacist, super soldier with, on drugs and so on, and using tech to be better fighter, what have you, and a bunch of guys who want everyone to be sabotaged and gender-neutral goats. Okay, it's not good. What's in between the satanic bull with red eyes and a goat, right? The Baphomet goat is not good. And if you think I'm talking crazy, okay, put in the comments what part you think is crazy, because this is called the truth.